You're listening to the Sports Connect podcast with Charles Bass and Cisco Soto. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter. Be sure to visit the website at www.sports-connect.net and become a member and get connected.
We're back. Welcome to the Sports Connect podcast here on this lovely Thursday evening, June 27th. So that means you probably hear this June 28th. This is Charles Bass, Cisco Soto. We in the building. We ready to go. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we had a week off, man.
Yeah, a lot has happened. The Heat won the championship.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that, though.
Yeah. Things just ain't the same. Times are changing.
Times is changing.
Yeah. So
old fools is aging.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah.
So we got that. We got A-Rod to talk about. We got Danny Green in the club to talk about. We got the NBA draft to talk about. We got Doc Rivers going to the Clippers. I got some thoughts about that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
They're not going to be good thoughts, though.
Oh, we got so much. And this just came in literally like an hour before we got together to do the podcast. Apparently, there's a trade in the works.
No, it's completed.
No, not the one I'm about to say.
Oh, okay.
KG, Paul Pierce, to the Brooklyn Nets.
You mean Brooklyn Hawks?
No, well, they'd be the Nets if they get this one. And Jason Terry. You can throw Jet in there, too.
Jason Terry in there, too.
For Chris Humphries, Gerald Wallace, and some more first-round picks, which means the Nets won't have a first-round pick to 2030.
Oh, God.
A lot has happened, but first,
look, let's finish that thought for a second.
Okay.
While we're on it. Remember how we always talked about how they put that team together to win now?
Yeah.
So why on God's green earth would you go get a 38-year-old power forward and a 34-year-old power forward and give up all your draft picks when your other two aging veterans?
I'm gonna tell you why. Leadership. KG and that. Because we talked about it a month ago when they got smashed in Game 7 by the D-League Bulls.
I mean, if they got to keep, you got to at least be able to build around these guys. Like, I understand.
Well, they got the three pieces to build around, right?
Come on, man. But you only getting another 2-3 years out of those guys.
Yeah,
you're only getting another year, and you're only getting another year or so out of. I mean,
right. So if you got 300,
so you're talking about one season. You can bank on this for it to work, and then if it don't, then they're going to be a bottom basement team for another 3-4 years.
Yeah, but you got it. But the fact that they got all this money invested in now, I think you got to go for it, man. Think about this team. Look at Darren Williams at the point. I can't even think about Joe Johnson at the 2, Paul Pierce at the 3, KG, Reggie Evans, Andre Blatch at the 4. They can just rotate to keep KG fresh, and then you have Brook Lopez, your all-star, probably maybe even the first best center in the league right now at your 5. That's a contender, man.
I'm sorry, bro.
Then I will give Billy King a nod.
I still don't see it. So I mean,
and they just hired Lawrence Frank as the head coach. I mean, assistant coach.
Yeah, the head coach.
Yeah,
you're right. He was right. You didn't stutter. I know what you meant. Yeah. Hey, man. Like I said,
I like that. I like that, man.
That's fine. You can. You
telling me who would you rather have, Gerald Wallace and Chris Humphries, or KG and Paul Pierce in their late 30s? I don't care if they're in their late 30s.
Paul Pierce is what, 35, 34? So you still might be able to get like another 3 years out of Paul Pierce.
KG probably got one if that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But still, I'd rather have 1 year KG than Chris Humphries.
That's why. Man, I don't see that. I don't see that happening at all. I mean, I'm not going to even talk about how they've mishandled this organization since it's moved over to Brooklyn. And some just head scratching things and head smacking things that they've done.
Yeah, I gave that rant a couple weeks ago.
Right, and that's what I said. This is just another thing that just seems desperate. Just seems like it's a mute point and things like that they just want to get. They just want to try to get somewhere. And then it's going to be 1 year. Yeah, but it's going to be 1 year, and it's more than likely it's going to be a failed experiment. And then who's going to be held responsible for it? Doesn't seem like there was a lot of accountability.
Well, it's not going to be Jason Kidd.
No, but that's what I'm saying. There was accountability as far as like they got rid of PJ, and he had to pay, which really wasn't his fault to begin with. They gave those two horrible contracts again to Joe Johnson and Derek Williams, Let's move on because now I'm getting angry.
Well, that's how I felt 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay. But second, we have to talk about this because this is a wild story, and the guy that don't really like this team, even I just can't believe what just happened. What's going to happen? Former New England Patriots tight end Aaron Hernandez has been arrested earlier. Was it today or yesterday? Yesterday on first-degree murder charge. So the situation, apparently, Hernandez and his buddy went out to the club. He had some type of misunderstanding with him. So him and the boys put him in the back of the truck. Took him
but this, I don't know if you read that. It wasn't necessarily a misunderstanding.
Well, I'm talking about the outline, the first phase of it.
The first story, okay.
Yeah, so they took him out in the back, execution style, shot him in the back of the head, then shot him a couple more times as he fell. And then they tried to cover up the evidence of somewhat. But now...
Poorly, I might add, but anyway.
Yeah. But now all types of new evidence and clues have emerged in this situation. Cisco, you go ahead and take over that part.
Yeah, I don't watch TV much, so most of the stuff was kind of just brought to me like today. So when I got a chance to catch up today, so apparently this guy's just a very violent history. I mean, he is suspected now in 2 other murders that happened in 2012, and they think the reason that he killed his name escapes me at the moment, but the murder that he's charged with, because he knew that he had killed these other 2 people.
Yep.
So pretty much to shut him up, they shut him up permanently.
Yep.
And I mean, to think that he killed 3 people. I mean,
and this is a Super Bowl tight end. He was in the Super Bowl just two years ago.
He was a Pro Bowl selection in 2011.
Yeah.
And to think that he was on the field all last year and the year before, knowing that he killed 2 people.
That's tough.
Kind of disturbing, in a way.
Yeah, that's tough.
I mean, you never know who you sit next to and the things that they've done, but man, I mean, that's just wild to think about. And then it was almost 10 years ago or something like that. He shot someone in the face.
Yeah, when he was 17 or something like that.
Yeah, yep. So, I mean, very, very violent history, and it's just a sad story, man. I mean,
yeah, just in the blink of an eye, he done lost it all.
And I mean, you think the Patriots were quick to react like that even before he actually got charged with
I think they knew what was coming.
Think somebody tipped them off in the front office and just
no question about it. No question about it.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of talks in that too, comparing it to Ray Lewis's situation. No, I know it's not really a comparison because Ray got off and there wasn't really too much evidence in that convict him. But when Ray got with the Ravens and that, this happened right after, and the team stuck by him. Yeah. In this day and age, you just don't see anything like that happening at all.
No, everybody's on a CYA plan. Whether you're found guilty or not. Yeah. So it is what it is. You got to take care of yourself.
And the Patriots, they might do some dirty cheating things in that, in the past, but they've always been looked on as a goody kind of clean cut organization.
An organization that's built on integrity and honor and character and all that good stuff.
Right.
That's Spygate.
But Spygate, yeah.
But like you said, what on God's green earth will possess a man who just signed a $40 million deal, $16 million guaranteed, coming off a Pro Bowl, to have that type of mindset to want to kill somebody?
He's still caught in that life one way or the other. I mean, I don't know. We was just talking about right before we sat down here. I mean, apparently he's gang affiliated. He's tatted up. He's got the marks on him. It's supposed to be a blood. And so I mean, he still wants to live that life. I mean, he's got a fiance. He's got a new baby. I mean, that's just one of them things. Even as a father, I mean, he's getting taken away from his child. I mean, he's living the consequences of his acts now. He got caught, and it's just what it's going to be. So there's nothing. If he did it, he did it. And he's going to pay for it. Well,
now if he did this and that,
and those other 2,
he might get the death penalty, man.
Yeah.
So you go from a Pro Bowl tight end, Super Bowl,
catching passes from Tom Brady
to death.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, I mean, I don't want to start this podcast on that type of note, but it's just...
No, but it's, I mean, again, this is what's happening. So, it's not to glorify it or justify anything, because you can't justify murder. You can't.
No, you can't.
Can't. I mean, and just like I said, in the circumstance that basically, if he killed this person just to shut him up from another crime that he committed, when was this going to end?
Yeah, no, and that's scary to think about.
So I mean, he's got his other boy got picked up today.
Yeah, but he just getting charged with obstruction of justice and having a illegal firearm
in that. So
he actually might get off easy. And then you know what? If he snitch,
that's the same. See, I was gonna say roll over. I was gonna put much harsher terms than that. But yes, if he flips, as it were,
or if he give information to the authorities about the situation, he might not get any jail time.
He might not get any jail time at all. So, I guess it's gonna play out a couple more days. So we'll probably have more in this story next week.
Well, he's definitely out for the season, and possibly. Career
out for the season. Okay, he tore his ACL.
Well, they're not granting him any bond.
No,
and they said he's not leaving jail.
Yeah, he's not going to see the light.
Yeah, so, his trial date is not until August or something.
Yeah.
So he's done. Man, that's really sad. This was worse than the Ray Carew situation. Going back.
I don't know if Ray's was worse, man.
Well, Ray's was worse, but this
crime was worse. But I mean,
and this is more shocking, I should say.
Yeah, because this kind of just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then the whole, like I said, obviously there was a pattern there to see this. And I mean...
And you know what's even more ironic? His roommate in college was Tim Tebow.
Really? Yeah. Didn't know that. Did not know that. Wow.
Yeah. I know that's crazy, going into the whole Jesus Christ thing, the Lord thing.
Right.
But you would think a guy with that type of energy like Tebow would kind of rubbed off a little bit on him.
Hey man, if he's a true G like that,
well, obviously he is.
Ain't no words or nothing like that. They're not gonna fix that situation, man.
I mean, he was with Tebow 3-4 years.
3 years, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, so let's go on to some brighter topics, because it's just funny. This next story is just funny to me. The whole A-Rod, Yankees, Brian Cashman love triangle that we got going on there. Basically, was it Monday? Brian Cashman took to Twitter. Tuesday. A-Rod took to Twitter to give status update on his health, which a few moments later was caught by Brian Cashman, and basically came out and told him to shut the F up. And when we got something to say, we're going to say it. The Yankees are going to say it, not you.
Yeah.
He backpedaled a little bit, said he shouldn't have said that the way it were. But now today, there's always sources. I don't know where they get these sources from, but they're saying that A-Rod's just talking about he just might not play. Period.
And that's exactly what the Yankees want.
Yeah.
That's called insurance money.
Yeah, I mean, if he don't step foot on the field, they get that back.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think this all been bubbling over for years. Let's get it.
Yeah, this
is not a. You think about AY just did a simple tweet. It was nothing major. He didn't call out anybody. He didn't talk reckless. And for the GM to go overreact,
because they're fed up with him.
Yeah,
man.
they are.
And I don't blame him. I mean, look, this guy's gonna be 38 years old next month. Hasn't been that productive in how many years now?
About 4 or 5.
About 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So.
And he's making $30 million.
And he's making right. So I mean, again, they were the ones who were dumb enough to give him that money in the first place. But again, put in that same situation, you got to pay A-Rod, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and now it's come back to bite him. And I guess Cashman's going to look like the bigger fool.
No, he won't. It'd be a Steinbrenner deal. But Steinbrenner's dead, so he can kind of throw it off on him. Unfortunately, I hate to say that.
Well, I don't know if you can throw things like that at a dead man, but for all the great things that Steinbrenner did in his life and his career with the Yankees, this shouldn't be the last thing that he was remembered for giving A-Rod that money. But
yeah, I read something today that was saying at this point, A-Rod knows that he's done. He knows the Yankees trying to get rid of him. He knows he's about to get hit again with that steroid deal. He just want to get paid and dip. That's really what he
should, though.
But he's trying to figure out how he can get on the field so he can play. So that way, when he get hit with the steroid deal, he can take his money and just leave. Because if he never gets on the field and he get hit with the steroid, they can kind of void the contract in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, this guy was built up to be like, be Babe Ruth and that.
And he got the talent to do it.
He had the talent. I don't know. As I said again, I don't know if at this stage in the game, at his age, I mean, we're not going to get another 5 years where he's going to come back and be,
Unless he get on that special stuff.
Yeah, get on that bole that he had before. Or bole, he didn't even know what it was. He just took it. It was from the island of the Dominican Republic, but apparently it works.
Yeah. It's sad. Dudes like A-Rod, Manny Ramirez, Bill Bonds, guys that had Hall of Fame talent, regardless if they took the juice or not.
Right.
But
I mean, I still say the talent more outweighs the steroids in that. I'll still be that person.
Let me ask you a question. Because this era of steroids was so rampant, do you think it should be like a special wing in the Hall of Fame for these guys?
I mean, I don't know.
Because where you want to believe it or not, it is a part of the history of the game now.
It is. And you know what? That was probably the most funnest part.
Yeah.
The most enjoyable time in baseball. But then it's like as those guys got a little older, then all these awful, horrible things started to come out about them. And then it's like it tarnishes the memory. And it does tarnish the legacy in that. And it tarnishes the game. And it's obviously tarnished the game to a point now where
no one watches it.
No one watches it, and nobody really cares. I mean, there's a lot of great things that are happening in baseball as we speak. But it's like you can't even have fun with it anymore because there's always that. Well,
I have a hard time finding it on TV now.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it's even hard to kind of think about. Okay, well, this guy's doing this, and he's hitting 35 home runs, and it's July. Well, what is he on?
And when you have those thoughts in your head.
Right, and it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like now, it's like every time somebody does something that's like worth noting now in baseball, you're like, well, he ain't do it on his own.
Right.
And then you know what's sad? Most of the time it's true that he didn't do it on his own.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
Yeah, and it comes out that it's,
I think the best example of that when I was trying hard to find my way to get into baseball since it was so hard to find it or, keep up with it. Melky Cabrera was having this awesome year. And I'm thinking to myself, man, he didn't do that when he was with the Yankees. Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, he really resurging. He's doing his thing, and then next thing you know,
he caught up too. And that's what I said. I think like we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Like the Braves have a really nice team going. I think they built their team up.
Yeah.
The way it should be built up, they built from the farms. They brought these guys up.
Made a couple trades
in that, and they've done it the right way. Even the same with the Nationals, even though they're kind of struggling this year. Off the bat, but the great season that they had last year, they drafted well. They brought up guys, right? And it's like when you see teams like that, and just the way that they're doing it, it's kind of more interesting to just watch. I don't care for the Nationals or the Braves, but if I was going to watch a game, like I would love to see them play. And even the Dodgers have come that way too.
Right now, the Dodgers have been struggling, but that's mostly because of injuries.
Yeah, but that's to say the same thing though. They brought up guys and things like that to help them turn that corner a little bit. And that's better to see that you see these guys come from nothing and not, like you said, go from one team 1 year and be not even pretty much mentioned at all. And then you go from that to being like a marquee player in the league overnight almost, So, but with that, I mean, that's pretty much all baseball coverage.
So I mean, look at us. We talking about how bad baseball is, and then that's all we got.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, your favorite coach of the league next to Popovich, Doc Rivers.
Oh, hold on. First, before you say that, somebody actually had a nerve to say that he was the best coach in the league. Said that Doc Rivers was the best coach in the league.
You know how I feel about Thibodeau.
Well, yeah, but and then like I said, there's still Popovich. Like there's still Greg Popovich.
Yeah, but I mean, I just got.
And let's speak. I mean, I don't think Eric Spoelstra is no offensive genius. I think he's a better manager than he is a coach. That's a little bit different, but the man did just win 2 titles back to back.
Pat Rock. I mean, Eric Spoelstra, puppet. I mean, yes, you're absolutely right. Eric Spoelstra has been a good coach for this. He got him to 3 straight finals. So say what you want.
So what we're talking about is Doc Rivers made the jump from Boston to LA this week and joined the Clippers. Showed up in a t-shirt and some slacks.
Yeah, he was chilling.
That might have been one of the funniest things I think I've seen.
He just showed up to the press conference in his golf clothes.
Yeah. So I wrote down kind of going over reviewing Doc's career in Boston and why people think that he is the best coach in the NBA because
you know what? I don't think it's because of the X's and O's. I think it's because of how he is as in terms of being a leader amongst men, how he carries himself.
And you know what? I never had a problem with Doc Rivers, anything he ever said or anything like that, because he always seems like that guy. Everybody likes him.
Everybody respects him. And I mean, he did a hell of a job in Boston. He did get a title. Now he did have Tibbs on the bench there when they won the title in 2008, and I think a lot of people are missing that one and not. Truthfully, I think that's kind of kicked aside. That he did have Thibodeau in there, and then Thibodeau becomes a head coach, and look how that has turned out for the Chicago Bulls. But what do you think Doc brings to LA that's going to get them over the hump that Vinny couldn't do with the same roster? Just what I said, leadership. You know what? Vinny probably had some X's and O's on his PowerPoint. I don't know if he had it on the court. On the court, but the biggest.
Yeah, but see, is Doc going to get Blake Griffin to hit free throws or DeAndre Jordan?
Oh, I'm sure Doc going to motivate him in a way to play better. There's no question about it. Mm-hmm. I think just his sheer presence in that locker room, it changes the whole complex of that team. That means they really.
There's been a lot of maturity issues and things like that that's been discussed about Blake Griffin and some of the other younger guys, and that's why they don't play very well with Chris Paul. So, do you think that he's the type of guy that's going to come in there and change that whole situation?
No question about it. No question about it.
See, you're giving this guy more credit than I am. So that's good.
Because I've seen it in action how he was able to mold that Celtics team within the first year and got them to a championship. And truth be told, like before they made the trade for Garnett and Ray Allen, they was making some strides with the 38 small forwards that they had on that team. Mm-hmm. All 38 of them. So I think this guy. I think Doc, man, he's the real deal. Now, granted, he may not be the best X's and O's guy, offensively, defensively. Who knows? I mean, like you said, you had Thibodeau, you had Lawrence Frank there the one year who was giving. It was awesome for him. I mean, he's just a great leader, manager of men. And I think by him, once he put his staff together, he's going to get some great assistants.
That's what I'm more anxious to see about who actually gets on the staff.
He probably give a call to Sam Cassell, some guys.
Yeah.
Of his homeboys. Once he get that staff together, you best believe he's gonna have the Clippers another 55 to 60 win team, and they're gonna be a real threat in the playoffs. I truly believe that.
Okay.
But wait a minute. Now that we're done with Doc, I gotta ask you this. I know you heard the story.
Which one?
So one of my all-time favorite players, Scottie Pippen, was out having a nice dinner with family and friends in California, and then a heckler came to him and heckled him, wanted his autograph, blah, 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 even to the point where when his wife went to the bathroom, he sat in his wife's seat just to make sure he can get an autograph and get a picture and stuff. Scotty was more than cool, tried to defuse the situation, took a picture, shook his hand. When the guy tried to get another picture as Scotty was leaving, Scotty said, "Oh, that's enough, no more, I'm good." He spit on his daughter and called Scottie Pippen the N-word. So then at that point, Scotty laid down the beat down on him, to the point where they had to take the guy to the hospital. He had broken teeth, partially fractured jaw, and some head injuries or whatnot. I want to say a concussion.
Yeah, good for Scotty.
So Scotty gave him business.
Yeah, good for Scotty. Good for Scotty. Hey, look, man. There's a couple things, man. You just don't do. And I understand, like people are famous. And, sometimes people get excited when they see people, that they've seen on TV. I mean, we had a similar situation. Me and Christian were down in Ring of Honor on Saturday down in Baltimore at the Du Burns Arena. And when we got in the hallway we saw one of our favorite wrestlers, Nigel McGuinness, was standing in the hallway. You know what? Nigel came, Christian patted him on the back, shook his hand. I took a picture of Christian and Nigel, and then you know what? We kept it moving.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be.
That's a respect thing. And you know what? And this guy was working. He was working the match. He was standing in behind so he could make sure everything was going on. He was waiting for his time to go in, and he was making his way to the broadcast booth. He took the time to stop, say hello to us, took a picture with us, and we kept it moving at that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That, like CM Punk, even because it's just fresh in my mind, he was saying when he was at a game and he made a tweet about respect. People see him out in public and that. Sometimes people get like characters on TV, even though like obviously basketball players don't have characters, but they see these people on TV, and then they think they can just, do whatever, and it's not fair. And it's not fair to these people, and it's just a respect thing. It's like, first of all,
they put on your pants one leg at a time,
just like you do.
Yeah.
And Scotty, I mean, being realistic, Scotty ain't been relevant for almost 15 years now.
Well, hey, hold on, he's still relevant in the Bulls.
Well, no, he is.
I'm
I'm not saying that, but I mean, it's not like Scotty's on TV. He's not, he's still a figure. But Scotty's not, he's not on TV every day like some, like Shaq Shaq still is, and Barkley and some of these other guys.
Jalen Rose, he does.
Yeah, and Jalen Rose is everywhere now. It seems like he's more popular than anybody. But you got to leave these people be, man. It's okay to say hello, and I'm sure they appreciate a kind word here and there. Who don't? Mm-hmm. But if he already obliged you once, said the things he said. First of all, you don't spit on nobody's kids. So that right there. If he broke his teeth or whatever he did, good for him, man. Straight up. I'm pretty sure the N-word and stuff like that probably didn't bother him. I'm pretty sure he's been called that his whole life. Yeah. So I'm sure that is like, okay, yeah, whatever, dude. But yeah, you don't spit on nobody. Come on, man. No.
Yeah. That's good. Scotty still had that work, that jab, because
Scotty looked like he's in good shape though, man.
Yeah. He still look like he can yam on Pat Ewing. That's my dude, man. I'm happy he did beat down that dude. Speaking of that, man, did you hear about CM Punk?
What now?
Well, with CM Punk, it's somewhat a similar situation, but only this time this involved his mother.
So, I read that today.
Yeah, so his mother's doing this sort of similar thing, and even threatened to leak stuff to the media about him, some of the things that he has done in his high school childhood days. And she threatened him.
She's threatened to kill herself and things like that
if you don't give her $100,000.
No, he's given her over $100,000.
Oh, well, she wanted more, right?
Yeah, but she just keeps giving, keep going.
So he had to order. He had to do a restraining order.
Protection. Yeah.
Man, that's crazy, man.
I mean, did you see the documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he already explained in there. He didn't really have the best relationship with his mother and that growing up. So. He's got that drug called fame right now. Yeah. And if the money's coming in, ain't nobody like family to take it away from you.
Right. It's the truth.
So, I mean, he played his cards right. I mean, if he helped and he, looked out, I mean, $100,000 is more than looking out. So, yeah, I mean,
that's life money right there.
It is, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you live within that, you had a house. I'm sure she got more than that. I'm sure she got a house. I'm sure she got some other things in between that she could. Yeah. So it's just selfish, man. Selfish and greed. It ruins everything.
Yeah, it really. I think
truly does.
Money can't be really the root of all evil, man.
It seems like there's a trend going on tonight with everything that we're talking about, because everything's kind of revolved around greed and and selfishness.
Yeah, man.
And yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but that is definitely the root of it. Well, I just got a little dun-dun-dun from the mothership. The trade has went through. The Nets agreed in principle to get Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and the Jet Jason Terry from the Celtics for Gerald Wallace, Chris Humphries, and a first-round pick. Your thoughts now that it has been done?
Yeah. Again, we already talked about it, so I'm not going to get into that again. Wow. Why is Boston tanking? Well, why is Boston going to take on them bums?
Well, let's see. Let's look at it like this.
I know you're not going to have
here's the conversation. Hey, Doc, I'm thinking that with this roster, we may not be able to win a championship.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
He did The Simpsons. He said... Yeah.
Danny.
Yeah.
I don't think he's coming back.
How long do you think they sat in that room and waited for him to come back from the bathroom, though?
I'm sure it's about 10 minutes.
Probably about a day.
You give him a day?
They probably sat there twiddling their thumbs. And it would have been great if there was like a camera in there and you would have had like a whole day, like just whole scene change.
He's probably walking
with the
around.
Lights, with the lights going.
Got his hand in his pocket.
Yeah,
he probably
different positions. He was relaxed and sitting there looking at his watch.
A little angry.
Yeah, checking his phone, see if he had any missed calls. Then he put it down. Then he thought he heard it. Then he picked the phone up again. Yeah, look, man. Oh, Brian.
So then when he realized he wasn't coming back.
First of all, hold on. When you brought about Danny Ainge, man, did you see the hurt in that man's eyes at the press conference?
That's my point.
God.
That's what I'm saying. So when he realized.
He looked like his
he lost
brother
his dog,
died, man. Yeah, like. He had the sad eyes, like literally looked like he just got done. Like
that's my point, man. So
I wanted to give Danny a hug. Like
when he realized Doc wasn't coming back, he picked up the phone. He said,
"Oh,
yeah, make a press conference at noon."
I'll let the world know.
I'll let the world
know. We done lost Doc.
So then after that, after he got over there, he realized he had to get rid of those guys, man. Personally, I would have tried to trade him to the Clippers for DeAndre Jordan and
something better than
try to get a Bledsoe, something like that. But that's man, ooh, the Celtics gonna be rough, man. And they don't got Brian Shaw to get as coach now, so they in trouble.
Yeah.
Danny Ainge might have to come down and coach this team, man.
You know what, man? The NBA overall as a product is better than the Lakers and the Celtics, even though it's sad to say. I mean, I'm not a fan of either team. But that good stretch there when they were back, to prominence again, man. I mean, that was good to see.
It really was.
It really was, man. And it's
sad that they going down like this. Guys just bailing on them.
Yeah. You got two sinking ships on both coasts. On both coasts. One in the Atlantic, one in the Pacific. Like, this is wild, man. So
wait a minute, let's continue with the NBA real quick because it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I got one more thing though, because we just talked about the sinking ship in LA. Is that where you were going?
That's exactly where I was going.
Okay, good.
So you go ahead.
So Dwight Howard. Now it's always with these sources. It's come out again and said
this one was Broussard.
This one's Broussard, that beige-looking fella that's on ESPN. I don't know if anybody's seen him, but he kind of creeps me out. But anyway, he has come out and said that. He doesn't believe that Dwight Howard is going to be staying in L.A.
And you know why?
Yesterday, the Lakers and the city of L.A. put up a billboard that said hashtag stay D12.
Yeah.
I didn't tweet that out because I could care less.
Yeah.
But if he does leave, now there's still rumblings in that.
Wait a minute, you didn't say why though.
Well, I'll let you say why.
The reason from the source that Dwight Howard don't want to stay in L.A. not because it's L.A. or it's the Lakers or they're playing Staples and they're in Hollywood or anything like that. All them great things, or Jack Nicholson, Eddie Murphy, any of those
Billy
guys.
Crystal,
Billy Crystal. No, they Clippers, but
he's Clippers fan.
He wants to leave because D'Antoni's the coach.
Yeah. And look, man, there's been this whole NBA season was kind of like ridiculous in so many different ways.
But it was entertaining.
It was entertaining as hell. Like, man, my God. But we still kind of ended, and the only thing that was kind of disappointing is that we ended with the result that we knew in October, that the Heat was going to win the championship, but that we didn't want to admit then. But, the whole Lakers story, even in between and this and that, but Kobe had the nerve to come out and say that Mike D'Antoni was an offensive genius. You saw D'Antoni got kicked off the Olympic team. We didn't even talk about that.
Really?
Oh, yeah, they replaced him with Tibbs. And,
really? He really got kicked off the Olympic team?
Yeah, well, not necessarily kicked off. Sorry, he's not going to be a part of it anymore.
They parted their separate ways.
Yeah. Coach Mike Krzyzewski chose not to bring him back. You didn't know that?
I did not know that.
They put Thibodeau on the team and somebody else. That was maybe about a month ago, so they came out with that.
Wow.
So
says a lot, don't it?
Yeah, and you know what? I'm really convinced. Like after this stint is done in LA, he's done. And somebody will give him a job, like they will.
A consultant.
He'll be a consultant or something like that. I mean, I think what he did. Because I'm not going to say done, because he really done that much, but he did do something. And what he did with the Phoenix Suns team and the way he built that offense around Steve Nash. Now, he tried to do the same thing with Steve Nash now again at 38. It's the same thing, man. These guys are great, great players, but everybody gets old, man, and it happens.
Father Time is undefeated.
He's still undefeated. All these guys are great. That's just like you couldn't bring the dream team from 92 together right now and expect them to beat anybody. Like, it's not possible.
Right.
Like, it's just one of them things where it's like, okay, 38 years old, you started your season out with Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant, Ron Artest. I'm never going to call him Metal World Peace because
that's fine. That's fine.
Paul Gasol and Dwight Howard.
With Antoine Jameson coming off the bench.
Antoine Jameson coming off the bench, and they didn't even use him.
I can't say that enough.
Yeah, and they didn't even use him. Like, and Antoine was 38.
But Antoine, yeah.
And they had, and Antoine can still ball. I don't care what anybody says.
I mean, that last year in Cleveland, he still put up 18 a game at 36 or whatever his age was.
I mean, Antoine Jameson's still balling. So, I mean, my whole thing with that was it was poorly executed to begin with because you brought him in because I'm thinking they were going to try to move our test like in the middle of the season to try to get some younger pieces. Mm-hmm. That didn't happen. I thought
they were going to move Powell to get some pieces.
thought they was going to get Powell to get some other pieces, and that didn't happen. You ran Kobe Bryant into the ground. Now, people will still say, it's a freak accident, They ran Kobe Bryant into the ground, man, and that was sad. And that was sad to see. As much as I dislike Kobe Bryant, it was still sad to see, like, but Kobe came out and said that he plans on playing for 4 more years. We ain't gonna get into that right now. But the whole everything leading up to their miraculous after the All-Star break was just how poorly the offense was run, and everything just seemed to pretty much just pass the ball to Kobe and just let him do his thing. Where you had 2 7-footers. One more athletic than the other, but you got one who's actually a really skilled big man that does a great post game,
pick and roll,
is a great passer, great rebounder, and then you had like how many times in a row was Dwight Howard Defensive Player of the Year? Like 4 times or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah. Like you can Google an offense for those 4 future Hall of Famers and 5 All-Stars to 6 when I think Twan was an All-Star, my personal opinion. You can Google.
If they would have used them.
Yeah, you can Google an offense so them they could do the flex. They could have ran a basic motion 3 out 2 in motion. How do you mess that up?
And that's what I said. That's what I don't think anybody really understood was like, oh well, such and such was injured. I know, and they played through some injuries and that. Yeah, I get that, but that team, the way it was put together, you could basically replace like one person with the other. If one guy went down, they should have been able to take this other guy and move him right into that spot. Like? Because when they lost Nash, they put Meeks in the starting lineup.
And that was fine.
And that was fine because Jody can ball. Like he's not a bad.
You can use
he's not
Kobe
a true
a little
point
bit more
guard,
ball handling.
right? And you could have had Kobe Bryant as a point guard, and that to control the offense better because that he can.
Right.
So that would have been another thing where, okay, you would have had a situation like that happen. You could have moved that around.
Right.
They could have had a better second unit with Ron Artest coming off the bench. Could have started Jameson. Given his age and that, they still could have limited their minutes.
Yeah, if you wanted to play D'Antoni ball, exactly. You could play Jameson.
They could have limited his minutes, and they could have worked around that. And then when they got that second unit in there, it didn't even have to be Paul Gasol starting. But everybody that was in that starting lineup could easily average 20 points a game.
People forget how well Earl Clark played in that system.
Yeah.
They could have found ways to use that.
That's what I'm saying. You could have had Dwight and Earl Clark starting at the center and the forward. And then you could have had a better second unit. That your second unit could have replaced that, and you could have overlapped those pieces.
I guess the point of this is that they could have gone a million different ways, but the fact that D'Antoni's the coach,
it makes your head hurt because when I wrote the piece about this being Kobe Bryant's lost season, and then everything that ended up happening to Kobe Bryant, I kind of feel guilty in some ways that this is what that I kind of predicted this. But it just seems like when you sat there and you would watch them play, and you saw some of the pieces that they did have. Knowing what those other guys can do, like you said, like Earl Clark and that, they could have got a lot more out of what they had. I mean, there's no question about that.
Yeah, well, Dwight is gone. And, if he goes with Dallas, that's a nice lineup. If you go with Houston, you got another contender in the Western Conference. So, the Lakers are done, man.
If he leaves, there's no hope.
There's no hope. And that just goes back to a point with Doc, how one coach can change the whole mindset and culture of a franchise. I mean, I look at Mark Jackson. That's basically the same team that was when Keith Smart was the coach.
For the past 3 years now, pretty much.
Yeah, so when Mark Jackson came, he changed the whole culture of that franchise. And now they're a contender in the West.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that's the same way it was from the negative standpoint when D'Antoni came in. I'm like, man, D'Antoni's coming in as the coach over Phil Jackson?
Yeah.
And that's exactly how it played out. So, unless they blow up this roster, get Jeremy Lin or somebody to play the point guard and try to revive that old Phoenix days. Something, I'm just saying, he can play the point. We ain't talking about defense, dog.
Yeah.
And, get something like that going. I don't see the Lakers doing anything. And I think Dwight feel the same way. He goes down to Houston with my man Kevin McHale. He's going to get him right. He go to Dallas with Rick Carlisle.
He's going to get a real post game.
Yeah, he go with Carlisle down there in Dallas. He's going to get him right. So, I know Dwight, he's wishy-washy to the umpteenth degree. But I think he's a
sometime-y dude. Yeah. He's one of my phrase.
Yeah.
He's sometime.
But I think he's at a point where he realized, man, if he stays in L.A. with D'Antoni, man, his career is going to go up in flames.
Yeah, because, at 28, 29 years old.
You really got a 5-6 year window out there.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Big guys break down a lot faster than guards do.
Right.
So, yeah, realistically, he's playing now for the rest of his career, for this summer. So, if he makes the right decision, yeah. LA is not right for it.
No.
It's just not. So, one more story here before we go. After Game 7 of the NBA Finals, everybody's favorite basketball player the past 2 weeks, Danny Green, was at the club afterwards.
Yeah.
Pouring it up.
Champagne and
campaigning with the champs. I had a problem with that.
So that means if you had a problem with that, you had a problem with Drizzy on the stage with the Heat as if he won a championship pouring champagne on him.
Yeah, but Drake's a clown. We already know that.
I didn't say that.
We already know that.
He's a Grammy Award winning R&B rapper, though.
Still be a clown. He didn't deserve it. We already know that Nas should have got the Grammy, but that's a whole other conversation in itself. He was upset.
Where's Wayne at, man?
Who cares? Like, what do you mean? Where was Wayne? Who cares where Wayne was?
Hey, he's a Heat fan.
Yeah, that made sweet, tender love to Chris Bosh's wife. You know what I'm saying? He also did that, too. So I don't really think that might have been cool, too. Well, yeah, sure. Just come on, Weezy.
Cash Money, Young Money, Miami Heat.
Come on, Weezy, but I'm not asthmatic. You know what I'm saying?
We the best.
You know? Yeah. You totally ruined that segment, bro. Yeah.
We the best.
We the best. Now, I had a problem with Danny out there, man. You just lost Game 7. It's basically your fault. It was his fault. Those guys was ice cold, man. I think I could have got in.
Well, that's the reason why he was ice cold, because they put the radar on him. They put the target right on his back. So you're not shooting anymore.
But he got shots off though.
Yeah, I'm sure he was contested.
Some of them weren't. I watched every single minute of those games. Mm-hmm. I'm like, at that point, they was just letting him and Gary Neal just jack up shots. I was like, man, they could have put T-Mac in there to see what they could have got out of him at that point.
Going back to T-Mac,
hey, man. Hey, you know, there's always a soft spot right here in the corazon for Tracy McGrady, man. And I saw T-Mac sitting there. I'm like the whole time, I'm like, man, this dude was like an MVP candidate, like this decade.
Not even 2008, 2009. Before he hurt his knee again.
I'm like, man. You could have threw him out there and he might at least got you 11 or 12. I mean, what was Danny Green like the last 2 games, like 2 or 28 or something like that? Something ridiculous?
Something ridiculous, man.
I mean, because you had him being the Finals MVP, really. If they would have won it in 6. If they had had won it in 6, he might have been the Finals MVP.
This is a true story.
Man, that's what I said. I don't think, and you know what's sad? The core was still doing what they were supposed to do. I think Manu Ginobili got traded in Game 5 to the Miami Heat, and they just didn't tell nobody. No, Manu should be ashamed of himself for that. I know.
I'm sure he's hurting about that.
Manu should have been ashamed of himself for that. But for that, I don't know. But the rest of those guys, like Danny Green, Gary Neal, they were heroes in games like 2, 3, and 4, and parts of Game 5. The rest of that, man, that was sad to let that slip away from them guys, man. That's the only thing that really hurt me.
It was. They should have won. It was up by 28 seconds left to go.
Something ridiculous. Yeah, they was wheeling the trophy out to the court.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was bad, man.
Yeah. And then Ray Allen talking about he might not come back. because he feels like he's owed more money than what they're trying to pay him.
Well, he is owed more money than what they've been trying to pay him, man. But that's his fault. He the one who left that 3-year, $26 million deal from the Celtics to go to the Heat because he was feeling salty about how they was trying to trade him, which they would have traded him to the Nets tonight if he was still on the team.
Yeah. They just would have sent him all to the Nets.
So he better,
he's in a better situation.
If I'm Ray, I think I need to suck it up when I and realize I got another ring.
But see, that's another guy, man. Again, Ray 38, man. He talking about he want like a 3-year deal.
He ain't getting that.
And I mean,
he better be happy with a 1 and a team option for 2.
For 2, yeah, seriously. And as I said, at this point, if he don't think that he's going to give him that money, I mean, shooters is starting to become cheap now. And Ray might be one of the best or the best shooter of all time.
But he's still 38.
He's still 38, though.
Which means they can go in the D League and find a couple shooters, dog.
Yeah, for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, especially in this salary cap tight market where you got 3 max players on your team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right, man. You either got to take the money or get traded to the Nets.
KG still don't got his phone number, though.
No,
so
no,
he's still
You'll find it if you get traded to the Nets. That's all. That's your choices, right, man? Mm-mm. All right, so this has been another podcast. This has been great, man. This has been
we got a lot of. I'm gonna give you the pictures. So you're gonna have a Ring of Honor from the Best in the World event. It's gonna be on the Sports Connect website, hopefully tomorrow. So. Anything else? There's a video that went along with tonight's podcast that Christian actually participated in this time. Man, it was kind of our wrestling talk.
He like Sting '96, yo.
Yeah, he just shows up whenever he wants. We're gonna get a little more consistency out of this guy. So,
but last thing I gotta say before I go, I want to send a congratulations to David Stern. This was his last NBA draft, and boy, did he show his tail. He came out there like he was Vince McMahon strutting, antagonizing the crowd. Mm-hmm. He was a rare.
He was the villain.
He was definitely a villain. Like, no chance. That's what you got. That was the theme of that draft, and I really enjoyed David Stern and what he did for the league. So kudos.
Yeah, no question. It's gonna be missed, but we'll be back next week, and we're gonna try to get more video involvement. So. Again, subscribe. Go to the YouTube channel. There's a new YouTube channel, Sports Connect Podcast. Get it there. Get everything from there, and we'll be good.
And also the Stitcher app. We still got that.
And still got the Stitcher app. That's what's bringing us to the game. So, download the Stitcher. Get us on there. Subscribe to us on there. So, as I said, the more support we get, the better that we can get putting the show out there. So, I want to thank you guys again.